Welcome, everyone, wherever you may be in this world. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. You've just joined us for UltraLife Today. We want to thank you so much. We've been getting feedback. You're sharing with friends. We so appreciate that. If you enjoy this relevant, cutting-edge health content that we're bringing you, we want you to share it with your friends. We want to help as many people as possible and get this good information out to you. I am Josh Bellew, one of your hosts, and I am sitting next to my dear friend, the CEO and the founder of Ultra Botanica, Adam Payne. Hey, Adam, what's going on?
Hey, Josh. Oh, another day here in
Ultraland.
Ultraland. I'm really.
Let's make it sound really fun.
I am really excited about our next guest, and you know why.
I do. This is so fun because
we've talked. I've been talking about this nonstop.
Yeah,
for the last couple
before
weeks.
I even say her name, we got really excited about our guest a few weeks back, actually a couple of months back, because there's a unique period of time she has spent in her life researching genetics, connecting herself with some innovative testing facilities, and then coming back with some unique algorithms. And my Adam next to me here said something to me that was really fun after the last broadcast. He goes, I'm doing that genetic test. And then a couple of weeks later, he goes, and we're going to do, what did you call it, Adam?
A live reveal.
The big reveal.
The big reveal, that's right.
The big reveal. So it almost sounds like a movie, like
I
The Big
hope it's
Lebowski
not a big
or
reveal.
something.
I've done some genomic testing in the past, and I've looked at some of the SNPs, so there might be some surprises here, but let's, so who is our guest?
Yeah, our guest is Jay Dunn, and she has a fascinating journey. If you have not listened to the last broadcast we did on UltraLife Today with her, Jay Dunn is her name. She's a doctor of chiropractic, but she has spent many years in the trenches doing research. She's trained several hundred health practitioners around the country in a unique methodology that she uses. And Dr. Dunn, it's so great to have you back, and I can't wait to hear you reveal all of this man's secrets.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll break every HEPA law. Thank you, Adam, for letting us just completely shatter all the HEPA laws out there and regulations.
Well, it's not HIPAA. I voluntarily allow this protected health information to be revealed publicly.
I'm Adam, and I'm a volunteer, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Very good. So how are we going to kick this off? Maybe Dr. Dunn, who has, remind me really quick again, Dr. Dunn, when you're having someone come to myhappygenes.com and they're going ahead and engaging and doing this test, is there really a two-part equation to this? Is if I remember correctly, they get certain amounts of information, but really it's down to that health practitioner that you may have recommended or personally trained. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. You nailed it. Yeah. We wanted the practitioner to be involved in the recommendations that were given by My Happy Genes, because there are diet and lifestyle changes and supplement recommendations. And, if they're on certain medications, it can interfere. So we definitely wanted to make sure that they were under somebody's care.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how many doctors are essentially trained currently under your methods?
In the holistic methylation, which is kind of the hands-on version of this, there are over 500 doctors.
Wow.
So around the country. But on the My Happy Genes, we have about 170 practitioners signed up to use the software program.
And growing, I would imagine. And
remind me really quickly, because people are going to want to come to myhappygenes.com. Do you have a practitioner locator on that website where they can actually find it? Oh, good. Yay. That's fantastic.
We do. We just got it up and going, so it's not very robust yet. But if you go to holisticmethylation.com, that 500, of the ones that I would recommend, they're on there. There's a referral list on there. That's holistic with a W.
Yeah. So I got the kit about 6 weeks ago, I think it was at this point, right? And so it did very specific. It was easy to follow the instructions. I swabbed my mouth twice. I put the things in the solution. And I sent them off. So could maybe just briefly explain what it was that we got out of my mouth and what you guys did to it? What did the lab do?
I love the fact that you're getting layman for me, Adam. I love that you haven't actually used words that I don't understand yet. That's awesome.
That's nice of you. So we are looking for DNA information in the saliva, and then like the cheek cells. And so that went off to our lab, and we tried to pull out the information that was really interesting to us as far as like looking at your brain chemistry, your physical health, your nutrient needs, risks of certain diseases, biochemical pathway, and there's a lot of information that we got out of that little tiny sample that we took out of your mouth.
And it's not just, you're not just doing guessing work. I know that you've tapped into not only the incredible array of research that already has been done around all of the different genomic sequences that are out there, but you've also done some primary research yourselves, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, and we definitely did, and it was all done through kind of experimentation with our own bodies.
I love it, the human guinea pig.
Yeah. You know, when we started Ultra Botanica and we were trying to figure out why this stuff was absorbing so well, we literally became human pincushions as we were drawing blood and measuring
everyone
levels.
Was accusing them of being addicts.
Yeah, we were all
needle
addicts. It was crazy. Yeah. So
needle marks up and down.
Yeah. It was.
And just so people can understand, how many years did you actually spend developing things to the point that they are right now, Jay?
Gosh, that's a good question. If you started from the very beginning, which was like accumulating all the functional medicine knowledge, it's been 35 years.
Wow.
But as far as like looking at the genetic piece, it's about 10 years that we've kind of
right.
been.
I thought it had been almost a decade.
That's
incredible.
phenomenal.
I want to point something out really quick, Adam, that you brought up on the last broadcast with Dr. Dunn. And that is a fair amount of the genetic testing companies out there actually do things with your information. And I was so pleased when you asked the question last time to Dr. Dunn, and she said, actually, the information that we have, number one, I believe they use some type of hash so that it's not even personally identifiable information. And then didn't you tell me there's a pretty quick point at when they destroy that information as well?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, because I think it's a really big deal.
It makes some people not want to even do it. It really does.
Yeah. I don't blame them. We do. The only thing that goes to our lab is a barcode.
Right.
And so with that barcode, there's no name attached, no information attached. That's
Perfect.
The only thing that goes with your sample that we get out of your mouth. And so when we get that information back, we hook it up to your email, and you can use any email you want. You can make up a phantom email or whatever, but that's the only thing that connects you with your data.
Interesting.
So, and then they destroy that sample, like you said, after 90 days. So it's gone out of their hands.
So here we are, and Adam is your patient today, Dr. Dunn, and you're the practitioner, the trained practitioner, the founder of this unique methodology. Take him through his consultation right now, and let's talk about this interesting thing where we're doing the big reveal.
So I'm curious, Doc. What did you find?
You're human.
Oh my God!
But we weren't sure.
I'm stunned.
Pay it up.
I know.
I know. I lost the bet.
No alien. Not a lot of alien.
Do you see any Neanderthal, or do you measure the Neanderthal part?
We don't. No? We don't measure that. Yeah. 23andMe and Ancestry, I think they do.
Yeah, they do that. Yeah.
But do you want to share the report and go through it together?
Yeah. Please, let's do that.
Yeah. This is basically we're eavesdropping on a patient-doctor privileged conversation here between you and Adam. So I'm so excited about it.
Okay. Can you see that?
We can.
I think so. Yep.
Okay. Great. So this is my practitioner account. So you can see up here it says practitioner. So I'm looking at your account through my account being linked to yours so that I can check out your information. Your DNA kit information is here. It may be a little slow because of recording it, but here's your first report. This is the mood and personality report. Can you see this?
I'll be the judge of this one.
Oh my gosh! Well, I did see this one, so it was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of preliminary information, so you can get a little bit of understanding about what genes mean and how they work. But The problem with a lot of genetic companies is they don't look at all the genes associated with a particular risk. They just say, oh, you have this gene, therefore it's a high risk of this, and watch out. But it turns out it's never one gene, one issue. It's always a bunch of genes that kind of contribute to an issue. So, for instance, this is your risk of alcohol addiction, and we look at all of these genes, we tally them up and give you kind of a relative risk along a slider. If you're high, it's over here. If you're low, it's over there. So, for alcohol addiction, it's a relatively low risk. It doesn't mean you couldn't develop it, but genetically.
Right, but I would have a hard time maybe developing it. I'd have to put some effort into it. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Alcohol's never been a problem for me. I can always have a cup and put it down.
Yeah.
And never have to.
Yeah,
worry.
and I was looking at that, going, "That looks like a beer. I think I would. I would enjoy having one of those." So
that looked kind of good to you.
It did.
So we're going to look, in the interest of time, I'll kind of whiz through these a little bit. But
Sure.
So there's the addiction risks. That's nicotine. This is an important one to look at, and you have a slightly higher than most people's risk of opioid addiction. So if I were counseling you, I would say,
stay away from opiates. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because you could be at risk of becoming addictive. So, general tendencies overall are low for that. It's somewhat moderate to high risk of anger, aggression, and irritability. This isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it just gives you good boundaries and ability to speak up for yourself and hold your ground on issues. But at a certain point,
I don't. Yeah, it's true. I do hold my ground on things.
I would concur.
Yeah.
Adam, let's butt heads for the camera. Just.
If you were down here, you would just be like, have no boundaries, and people would run all over you. If you're over here, then it's, you're just grouchy at every little thing. So
yeah, not a very pleasant person to be around. Yeah.
No.
That's
Same
really
with anxiety
not you. Thank God. Okay.
Same with anxiety and stress balances, moderate levels. And this is like your ability to respond to danger and be alert at what, your surroundings. So that's the positive aspects. Negative could be like higher than normal levels of anxiety, but you're middle of the ground, so that's great. This is like ADD, ADHD kind of things, and middle of the ground there, middle of the road there. This is a schizophrenia, so you have a fairly low risk of schizophrenia. That's good. Look at all the genes that are associated with schizophrenia.
We're very glad about that.
Yeah, I think Adam is more of what one of my good friends calls pronoid instead of paranoid. He actually believes that things are going to work out pretty well at the end of the day.
That's so great.
It's true. They will.
That's great. And so, moderate to low risk of depression. This is like a major depressive disorder. So this is, I talked about my story, and I'm way up here on my risk, and it just made so much sense to me and gave me a lot of compassion for myself to know that it was in my genes. It wasn't like,
it wasn't the product of your upbringing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Seasonal affective disorder, low risk there. Depression in general, or mild depression, pretty low risk. You don't seem like a depressive kind of person, at least.
Well, when you come to think about it, it has been a very difficult. No, I'm not. I'm pretty upbeat.
I'm going to do my best Eeyore voice right now. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me.
This is a horrible experience.
And this one is ASD or autism spectrum disorder risks, and
so low,
moderate to low. That's good. This is your empathy, kind of your ability to form connections and be an extrovert, and so you're middle to lower.
A little bit more introverted than extroverted. Yeah, that makes sense.
He's in some empathy here, so you're fairly high on the empathy scale, the oxytocin scale, which is good.
I concur.
Yeah. Thank you, Josh.
No, really.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
And entrepreneurial tendencies, kind of, you would think this would be super high because you're like Mr. Starting businesses and going after it. Hormone-related mood swings. If you were a woman, you'd be pretty mellow. And there's the 100% of learning difficulties, and this is a dyslexia. So these are some of the genes that we would be looking at here.
Interesting. I have a very unique learning pattern. I'm highly conceptual. I don't need to read or do practice stuff. Once I have the concept, it's pretty well absorbed.
And then you're able to actually build on that too very quickly, which is cool.
Yeah, my IQ is like 140, so I'm pretty...
You just had to throw that out on air.
Oh, I
you?
did.
During the big
I'm
reveal.
sorry.
Mister, he's humble. Oh, look, the humble factor.
Oh, no, not
on
really.
here.
Not really.
No, the cool thing is doesn't have anything to do with intelligence, and probably you compensated for like difficulties with words or reading comprehension by just grokking the whole concept and going, I got it, let's move on.
Yeah.
So, and that's Richard Branson is he's a big dyslexic. He talks about that a lot. So it has nothing to do with success in life or IQ. So that's interesting. Mood swings, no. Bipolar going on there. Novelty seeking, impulsivity, pretty darn high.
Oops.
No, it's good. It has to do with
That I can
curiosity.
concur. That I can concur with 100%. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it has to do with curiosity, love of travel and exploration, and innovative thinking. So you're probably always thinking about how you can do something better or different or like on the new thing. Let's go.
Well, and that's how that combines with the entrepreneurial aspect of your life as well, Adam, because entrepreneurs are known for making quick decisions.
Yeah.
And sometimes the chips fall one way and they fall the other way the other time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're absolutely right, Josh. Yeah. That's an interesting combo. Not terrible on the OCD kind of category, which probably lets you get things done and go, okay, this is good enough. We need to move on. So for me, I'm way up here, and it takes, it's like sometimes I won't finish things because it has to be perfect. So this is an interesting aspect.
Okay, we're going to take just a moment here. We're going to go to break. This is UltraLife Today. You're listening to a fascinating interview we're calling The Big Reveal, as Dr. Jay Dunn of myhappygenes.com is going over Adam's DNA report, and we'll dig in a little more on this. It's very, very fun. And I want to mention
don't go away. Come right back after the break.
Yes, I want to mention one other thing. Dr. Dunn mentioned holisticmethylation.com. Holistic methylation, WHOLISTIC, and then methylation is METHYLATION.com. It's where you can actually find health practitioners that she has trained in her methodology. We'll be right back, Adam.
All right, see you soon. Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Welcome back to UltraLife Today. I'm Josh Bellew. I'm here with Adam Payne, CEO and founder of Ultra Botanica. We're having a fascinating interview with Dr. Jay Dunn. Before we go right back to her, I want to mention you can find these unique interviews parked on our YouTube page at UltraCur, ULTRACUR, or you can go to our Facebook page where you can also find information that will lead you to archived episodes of UltraLife Today. And again, our Facebook page is ULTRACUR. Welcome back, Dr. Jay Dunn. Let's keep going with this fun personal information.
So where were we? This is, what do we got here?
Okay, we're looking at your risk of long-term effects from traumatic or stressful events, PTSD risk. It's kind of interesting because there are certain people that are just kind of set up for it, and the minute they have a traumatic event, it is imprinted in their brains. And two people can go through the same traumatic event, and one affected and one not. So it's a fascinating kind of genetic.
Wow!
I wish you could make a pill for that one.
Well, there's a lot we can do because the whole point is you can do something about these things. We can tweak your diet, lifestyle, and supplements to kind of turn your genes on and off, essentially the epigenetic component, and get things balanced. So it's kind of cool.
That makes sense.
So we're going to get into the actual report summary. So I want to go over a little basics here. When we're looking at the gene table, you can see the colors over here: green, yellow, and red. Green means you got the normal code for that particular enzyme, genetic code. The yellow means you got one parent gave you the wrong code for that enzyme, and the red means both parents gave you the wrong code for that enzyme, and that can reduce its function by about 70%. So think of these all as enzymes, and the red ones are the ones we're going to pay the most attention to because they could be reduced by about 70%.
And
so
would you describe for our listeners the role of an enzyme as it might relate to how it can change your health or potentially help you with other areas of diet and supplementation?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. That's probably a good idea to start at the basics. So think about dairy products, your ability to break down, using enzymes to break down lactose that's in dairy products.
Right.
If you have a genetic variant there that's homozygous, your ability to break down dairy products could be reduced by about 70%. We would call you lactose intolerant, right?
And so what does that do to people when let's say we've inherited the two genes from our parents that were the wrong ones as it relates to dairy, what happens to people?
So they won't be able to tolerate dairy products very well. A lot of times it'll cause diarrhea and stomach upset, gas, bloating, congestion, all kinds of digestive irritation, when they consume dairy products because their body can't break it down. They don't have the enzymes.
Yeah,
so
this is huge information for people to know this.
Yeah.
Unequivocally.
So we're looking,
it's great.
Right. And so when we look at, let's say the mental health aspect, an enzyme that breaks down stress hormones, if you don't make that enzyme correctly, then you can't break down the stress hormones and it makes you anxious, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way we're going to be looking at this. The enzymes in the body do a lot more than just digestive things. They do, producing hormones, breaking them down, producing neurotransmitters, which are brain chemicals, and breaking those down. Helping us digest is, again, one thing, but also helping us detox or break down histamine. A lot of functions in the body happen because of the enzymes. And if your enzymes you're starting out with inheriting a low functioning enzyme there, then it's going to cause some health effects down the line.
Right. So it diminishes the effectiveness of that enzyme reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's say you have an enzyme that keeps you from turning cholesterol into bile, then your cholesterol is going to go up and you're going to be at risk for cardiovascular disease. So those are the kind of things we're going to look at.
Ultimately, it's like a big, huge web of interconnectedness, right?
Yeah, exactly. So when we look at these enzymes, you can see here's a red one. Let's pop this one open. So we're going to click on the SNP name here, the ABCG81. And this tells you this enzyme is involved in eliminating plant sterols. Those are fatty components in plants in the bile. And this helps regulate levels of cholesterol. Genetic variants result in a defective sterolin transporter, impair the elimination of cholesterol from the body. So this can result in clogged blood vessels, blah, blah, blah. So each of these right here, you can click on any of these and it'll take you right to where I found that study. So everything is backed up by a good PubMed study, good high
Interesting.
So now I'm seeing why this took 10 years, because I'm looking at all these different enzymes in the coding next to them on the far right. And gosh, this makes it, but this is very interactive and it makes it much more simple for an individual to validate what you have put together. I love this.
So let's make this actionable here. What do we do with this information that we have in front of us right now?
Well, that's the thing, is we accumulate all of that information from all of these genes. We look at, what did you inherit? What symptoms are you having? And that's why we had you fill out that symptom questionnaire.
I gotcha.
What pathways are impacted by your genes? In other words, like, do you break down your cholesterol into bile acids or not? And then we calculate what's your best diet according to that, and what supplements should you take to kind of upregulate these enzymes that are low functioning.
That makes good sense.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's another one. This is two in a row that lead to high cholesterol. So they add up, when we look at, okay, you got a higher than normal risk of these kinds of things.
So is there any reason why he has 4 in a row that are red that he inherited from both his parents? Are those grouped in any certain way, or are those just randomly grouped that way and that just happened to be that way? I'm curious if there's any correlation between 4 in a row like that when the red column.
No,
Okay,
he just happened to have red in it. But here's the cool thing. If you look at this little arrow over here, You click on that and it'll bring all the green ones to the top, and click on it again.
Oh, nice.
It'll bring all of your red ones to the top, all of your homozygous variants to the top.
Interesting.
So it's the good news, bad news column, Adam, and we'll always look at the good news. The good news.
The red looks like a pretty big list. That's not good.
Yeah, can we dial into a couple of things on the red list that you might find maybe not quite as common? Is there anything on that red list that you might go, hey, Adam, this isn't very common?
Yes, there are a few things. One is, I think in the last interview we talked about the vitamin D receptor. Remember I talked about my issues right there? Here you go. You've got the same thing. So you can see this list is huge for all kinds of issues. And it's one that's easily worked with. Remember we talked about our cofactors, vitamin K2 and A, that go with that to get the body absorbing vitamin D. But one of the bad, I shouldn't say bad, but this one right here, highly associated with all kinds of issues.
The challenging
the MTHFR. Yeah, I knew that I'm
yes.
MTHFR recessive.
You already knew that. Yeah. So that's in there. This is the warrior gene. I think we talked about that a little bit. That it can make you a little bit grouchy, but you've only got 2. I've got 5, so I got you outnumbered there.
Well, I'm sure glad you're thousands of miles away. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, you should be.
Right. So that means I need to somehow de-stress myself there because norepinephrine can accumulate. Is that correct?
That's more serotonin with the MAOA. So it's the comp genes that has the norepinephrine that accumulates. So, yeah. So when we look at your supplement recommendations, it will have calculated that and said, okay, you've got a few MAOs. We need to have this supplement to help you break down the excess serotonin that can make you irritable.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow, isn't that funny? Yeah. The happy chemical can actually make you grouchy.
So from this information,
yes.
where do we go?
Okay, I'm going to take you to the next report. So we have 5 reports, lots of information for you to look at, and here's the diet and lifestyle. So this will tell you, what's for you, what are the foods you should stay away from. Yeah.
Sushi.
So we same thing. We look at a slider. So alcohol, caffeine, not your best friend, Adam.
Oh,
but it is his best friend.
I love caffeine.
Wait a minute. This guy, I'm just got a quick aside here. This guy can actually make coffee because he lived in Russia forever. And I don't know if that's where you picked up the habit, but Adam, you can make a stout cup of coffee.
Well, I love my coffee.
I know you do.
Maybe do half and half or something because it's not like no coffee, but
he uses it straight for the caffeine. You may as well just snort caffeine up your nose, Adam.
I could do matcha. I'll do matcha instead.
There you go. It's still good.
Is it the same thing? Or or am I just cheating myself here? Okay.
That's
fermented foods okay?
Caffeine. Yeah, fermented foods are not bad. Kind of
okay, good. Nice. I love my pickles.
No major susceptibility to food allergies. And these are the Neanderthal genes right here, actually. So the HLA is a human leukocyte antigens or leftover Neanderthal DNA. But
interesting.
Gluten, not your bestie either. It's heading up there.
Yeah, that's one of the higher ones we've seen for you, Adam.
Right. Anything toward 50%, I would say, watch that one.
Histamine foods, maybe. Okay, not too bad. Yeah.
Intermittent fasting isn't your best. You could probably go 12 to 13 hours, but more than that, you're going to have trouble balancing your blood sugar. So it's,
And I would say that this guy, he routinely does need food at times, and when he does, it immediately brings him out of it. Whereas a lot of people who eat regular meals like that, Adam, they just go low, low, low after a meal.
Yeah.
But for you, it's a charger.
Yeah.
At least I've noticed.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say that's what we're seeing here. That's exactly right.
Interesting.
Josh, we're looking at somebody who's going to need frequent meals rather than 3 big ones. Low risk of lactose intolerance. That's good.
Very low.
MSG, you can eat that.
Wow.
Num, num, num.
Num, num, num. Salt,
Let's
it on.
hit the Asian market.
Interesting.
Serotonin and tryptophan, you're okay there. Here, just a little note, because you guys I think you're big into curcumin.
Uh-huh.
People that have genetic variants in especially these genes down here, the MAOs and TPHs, can't do curcumin because it actually downregulates that enzyme. So, but for you, it's safe and it's good because you don't have major issues in those enzymes. So,
to park on the curcumin comment that you just made, would an individual actually notice if they were taking curcumin? They don't have any of this great information that you have given us now. Would they actually notice like potential, oh wow, I get tummy ache, I don't feel good. What would be the potential for someone that is kind of allergic to curcumin? What's going to be the reaction in their body? Is there one or several?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. So it downregulates the activity of the MAO, the monoamine oxidase that breaks down serotonin. So it's going to cause higher serotonin levels. And you just mentioned, we always think of serotonin as our good, happy hormone, but too much of it can make you really irritable and aggressive. So somebody that has
what are you talking
variant,
about?
I don't know.
I'm really not trying to lead this conversation, Adam, I promise.
But these enzymes right here, are going to be affected by higher levels of curcumin, and so they'll feel grouchy, they'll feel irritable. I'm one of those. I get really irritable with curcumin. It's like I bite people's heads off and they're like,
oh wow. So we've got a break coming up here in about 30 seconds. Where do we go, Adam, on another segment here, because I'm not sure we're done?
No, I think we're going to have to come back after the break and continue. Actually, we're going to have to come back next week and continue this discussion. Boy, you've whetted my appetite. We haven't even dug into the meat and potatoes here yet of supplementation recommendations. I am looking at my soy foods spectrum, and that looks pretty good.
Okay,
I'm okay with soy.
So everyone stay with us. This is UltraLife Today. I'm Josh Bellew, Adam Payne. We're having a fascinating discussion with Dr. J. Dunn about myhappygenes.com. You can learn a lot from her website, and you can find out interesting things, and you can take a genetic test and do what Adam's doing right now.
Yeah, for Adam's Happy Genes.
That's right.
There we go.
We'll be back.
We'll be right back.